Good evening.
Is my mic? Now it's on. Sure. Thank you. About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. I gave myself a new nickname, Lady Shakes a Lot. I also decided that within a few minutes you'll see I have a tremor in my left hand. I decided that this was my new superpower. So I started thinking about things you could do with a superpower like this. First thing I thought of was I could be a bartender, specializing in James Bond martinis. I see we have some James Bond fans here tonight. Shaken, not stirred. What else could I do? I could be a ref in the World Cup soccer games. Take out my can of shaving cream, mark that line for the free kick. Can is always ready. What else could I do? I could be a graffiti artist, painting under bridges and roads. Again, paint can's always ready. What else could I do? I could work in a Christmas shop. Every morning I go in and shake all the snow globes, make sure they still fall. I could work in a casino. Every morning I'd go in and shake all the dice, make sure the dots don't fall off. I could work, what else? I could be a miner. All I have to do is hold the pan, the gold will shake out. What else? I could work in a morgue. Every morning I'd go in and shake all the bodies, make sure they're still dead. I'd like to talk about units of measure that use somebody's name. A Smoot, a Mooch, and a Scoville. I like to name my stories so they're easier to remember. So a Smoot. In 1958, a student was walking across the bridge from Boston to Cambridge. Foggy night, late at night. He was having trouble figuring out how much longer that bridge was before it got all the way across to MIT. And so I thought of a scheme for making it easier for people who are walking across the bridge at night to know how much longer it was to the end of the bridge. He and his fraternity brothers got together, gathered up the shortest pledge in the pledge class, Oliver Smoot, who was 5'7". I said, okay, Oliver, what we want you to do is lay down on the bridge. We will paint a line at the top of your head and get up and lay down again, and we'll paint another line at the top of your head. Let's do that all the way across the bridge. Well, he did this until they got about halfway across the bridge, and he said, I can't get up and down anymore. You're going to have to carry me. So they picked him up and carried him the 5'7" all the way across the bridge, marking every 100 smoots or so. To this day, the pledge class repaints those lines on the bridge across the Charles River. A smoot is an optional measurement in Google Earth and Google Maps. The Washington Monument is 99.5 smoots tall. A mooch. We live in a political town. Even Anthony Scaramucci himself recognizes that his name is now a unit of time. He lasted the shortest of any communications director in the White House. He served 10 days. On the 11th day, on the morning of the 11th day, he was fired. A mooch is 10 or 11 days. You can live without water for about a third of a mooch. You can live without food for about 2 mooches. A Scoville. Scoville is a unit of heat of peppers, measured in increments of 100. Now, when I first heard about this, I thought, okay, so they actually have people taste the peppers and rank them how hot they were? Not quite what they did. They dried up the peppers, stirred them into alcohol, and diluted them with sugar water. And the more times they had to dilute them, that represented the number of Scoville heat units you had for that kind of pepper. So green pepper is sweet, right? So 0 to 100 units. A Scotch bonnet or habanero is 100,000 Scoville heat units. The hottest pepper is pepper X. It is 3 million. It must be like tasting rocket fuel. So I got to thinking when I was doing the research for this bit, so what would a Covin be? What would we measure with a Covin? Well, when you look up Covin in Google, you find out there already is a Covin. It's a car. Does anyone know what a kit car is? Yeah, you put the body of a car on top of the chassis of another car. A Covin is a kit car. Body is a Porsche 911. Chassis is a VW. I've always wondered what it would be like if I had a Covin and somebody stole it, thinking they were getting a Porsche. The look on their face as they drove away and said, this drives like a VW. Because it was. That's all. I'm Carol Covin. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. I have a book. I've written a book about grandmothers, conversations between mothers and grandmothers about how to raise the grandchildren. A lighthearted book with cartoons. It's available on Amazon. Who Gets to Name Grandma? And Around the Corner, Prosperos. Thank you very much.